Welcome to Technology and Education Today. I'm Richard Smith.
And I'm Caroline Crawford, and we are coming to you from the University of Houston Clear Lake in Houston, Texas, USA.
And today we are discussing group work in online courses, one of my favorite topics. How about you, Caroline? Oh, I see that face.
I used to adore it. I'd never tried the online teams until about a year ago. And I'd had such great successes in the one course that I'd implemented it in, and this semester has just gone crazy bad.
In what way?
In the way that people are not engaging in the teamwork. Things are being left until the last minute. The people are not acting I teach graduate level courses, in a professional manner, which is a part of the disposition expectation within a graduate level course, especially our courses. So I am displeased at best with the whole concept of it.
Well, I tell you what, in my opinion, the idea of group work always sounds good. It sounds good in a face-to-face course, and it always sounds good in an online course, and according to various standards set for online courses, group work is actually a requirement of one sort or another, or group work of one sort or another is a requirement.
And it makes sense in our specialization area because as instructional designers, instructional technologists, educational technologists, whatever you want to call it, you will be working in a team environment, and it is necessary and appropriate to work within a team environment successfully.
Yes.
That was difficult to say.
but it would seem so in our area, and it also seems it's advocated across all subject areas in online courses. But the problem comes, it's a very similar problem to teamwork or group work in a face-to-face course. Some people do the work, other people let the worker bees do all the work for them. In a face-to-face course, this makes problems for the instructor because the instructor has to naturally speak with the people who have been accused of not working, and you never really know whether they've been working or not. And then you have to determine whether that person has been contributing and maybe is getting bad information from the other members of the group.
Well, I had a horrible experience when I was a doc student. I was in a team, and I was the developer, and there were several other people that weren't doing their part. So we had a designated team lead person, project manager, and he was screaming at me. It's like, I need a product. I want a product now. It's like, I've got the frame, but I don't have any information to put in it. And by the way, that's not my job. You need to talk to all the other people. I need you to get it done now. It's like, that would be lovely. Where's everybody else's work?
Well, and that's a face-to-face course. So when you have that
it was
problem,
a face-to-face course.
And we have that problem when it occurs in an online course, it complicates things even more.
Further.
So
yes.
so the groups, which I try to avoid because it's my theory that people they're already working in teams. They may not be working in teams in their subject areas, but they certainly work on teams when they're engaging in sports and in other areas. That it's just not worth the effort to get over-engaged with teams in an online course. That doesn't mean we're going to cut off all sorts of communication between the students within a course, but it does mean that I would not want to have a course that is entirely based on
On
teamwork.
the other hand, I've heard from professor after professor after professor, oh, teams are great, you don't have to grade as much. All you have to do is grade one thing and everybody gets similar grades, so it's so much easier on you. I'm not sure I agree with that.
Well, first of all, this is an interesting problem. If you're on a team, generally the way they are set up is one person is in charge of task A, a second team member is in charge of task B, third person is in charge of task C, and so on and so forth. Well, the person who's working on task A learns that task really well if he or she has been working on it, but what happens with task B? Not so well. So I really believe that a person should, in a course, should handle all of the tasks. They learn everything that needs to be taught in that course. And I think in group work, it's always possible you're going to lose a lot because people are learning different aspects of a part of a project. Supposedly, when they bring it all together, they sit around and study it, and they go, "Oh, yes, this is fabulous," and everybody learns everything. But I haven't found that to be true.
I was trying to get around that issue by not designating who would act as the team lead, who would act as the knowledge expert or the instructional designer or whatever it happened to be. silly me, that meant nobody was going to take responsibility at all in some of the teams. And in other teams, only certain people were working
Yes,
towards
well,
meeting. But then you
that's
also have
that's
the
a problem.
amazing teams that everybody else wants to jump into because everybody's working hard and strong product and they're all so happy.
Yes, but the thing is that some teams work really well, other teams don't work really well, and now you've got a problem in the course that you have designed. As for grading students who work on a team and everybody gets the same grade, I find that to be a problem because if you have to give the same grade to somebody who slacked off as compared to somebody who was the worker bee and did all the work, I think that is unfair.
Well, I integrate a little peer evaluation form for everyone in the team. It's an additional like 5 points on each assignment, and so you not only evaluate yourself, but you evaluate everyone else positively and negatively, whatever the experiences were in the team. And that not only lessens the stress levels for people who may not be in a very proactive, engaging team environment, but it also lets me know so what goes on, and I can communicate with those people after I see 2 or 3 of the evaluations from the team. It's like, it's not just one person who has a problem with you. Every single person.
Right,
so
but-
I need to talk to this person.
Right, but you set up a situation where now you need to talk to that person, where if the course had been designed differently, you wouldn't have to talk with that person. When I have interactivity...
But in the real world, you can fire them.
But you
In a
can't-
course
you
environment,
can't-
you can't.
What I do for interactivity in a lot of my courses is that I have the students do a critique of a product that another student has made. In other words, in my video
Peer
production
evaluation.
course, yeah, in my video production course, rather than have teams create a video, each person creates a video or a set of videos, and any major video that each student creates, and that will have, you have to write the video, you have to shoot the video, you have to operate the camera, all that sort of stuff. They then give that video to their partner, and the partner then has to critique that video against a rubric that I give that partner, and have to answer certain questions. I then give the grade based on the critique. So if you do the
that's
critique and you
interesting.
do the critique
So the
well,
person who creates the video doesn't get the grade. The person who does the evaluation obtains
yeah,
a grade
I can grade the
allocation.
video also, but the person who I grade that evaluation that the student did, or the critique that the student did, because if they do a really good critique, it shows me immediately that they understood the principles behind the video. And,
And we're engaged in
Yeah.
supporting the other
Right.
person.
And I do this the same in my the course where I teach teachers how to become distance educators and create distance education courses. They don't really have a team, but they have what you call an author-editor. It's author-editor partnership, where one person authors the course, the other person is the editor, so it critiques it. It's the same principle, but each student has to create an entire course on his or her own. It's not a team that puts together that course. I figure once you get out, you graduate, you get a job, you'll work as part of a team. If you're not working well, your boss, as you mentioned, will tell you certainly that you're not working well.
Thank you for your time. Get out.
But young people these days are engaged a lot in teams. Boys always have. Girls previously, 30, 40 years ago, were involved when they were involved in sports, could be involved in sports, were usually involved in personal sports such as swimming
What are
or
you saying?
tennis. This is true.
Boys and girls both work in teams. Perhaps the males
no,
more so than the
You're
females.
not listening to what I'm saying.
That's why I'm
I say-
saying what?
I say 30 or 40 years ago,
Right.
before you had sex desegregation and girls could join teams, they didn't have. Before that, they did not have the opportunity to join teams. There simply weren't girls' teams in high school and junior high. Now they can join teams. Now they're learning teamwork. So more and more girls are already learning teamwork on the field. Boys previously learned a lot of teamwork because they played team sports such as baseball and football and basketball. 30 or 40 years ago, when girls were in sports, they were in individual sports, personal competition sports. They were in swimming. They were in tennis, sports like that. So they weren't really in teams where you had to cooperate together. Now that's changed. And now that's why I feel that I can get away with, in the course, of not having the students work in teams, because I don't think I think it generates too many problems in in an online course, and the students have a much better opportunity to learn if they're in discussions, if they're doing critiques, but not necessarily working in a team project where each person only learns one little piece of the project.
I like the team environment because it has the opportunity to engage, especially within an online environment, engage people in a more collegial relationship.
It does. It does. The question is it worth the amount of effort that you have to get that going? And
It depends on the outcomes you desire. I desire a collegial environment.
It's difficult enough in a college level course or a graduate level course.
True.
If you are a high school teacher and somebody has stuck you with a class of 30 online students and expect you to have those students working in teams,
That would be rough.
It's a tremendous amount of work. And that's why I say we've reached the end of another edition of Technology and Education
Clear
Today.
as mud.
Clear as mud, yes. I'm Richard Smith.
And I'm Caroline Crawford, and we are again coming to you from the University of Houston Clear Lake in Houston, Texas, USA. Bye!